Wants to kick it into towards the square. Plenty of high flyers. And it's been forced over the line. And lovely to see the cars.
Peter Mann. Yes, sorry, Rob. I think Peter Mann was calling for that free kick, wasn't it? Up there.
Yes, and he's been awarded
got
it too.
Well, he's going to have a ping from the forward pocket. And he's put it
smart
through.
Football.
So the skipper's got the first.
Well, he went straight to the umpire there. We might see it again. He told the umpire, quick, smart, that that was a deliberate. Put a stake to claim, and he set it up beautifully. A superb kick there on the dead side of the ground. And Peter Mann, because they needed this goal, fellas, didn't they? Been kicking with the breeze, making a few sorties inside 50. And you'll see it here. Out she goes. Tregear there. And Peter Mann coming into screen and calling it and convincing the umpire to give him the free kick, Ross.
But we knew what you mean. Ops now for the Hawks, goes forward. Another chance, looking for their second. Bateman's goal! Oh, it was a good mark. He didn't dwell on it. And then just toe poked it through. They're up by 2 goals now.
Well, I think we all did, Phil. Here's Johnson, got a high one. Advantage. The #1 draft pick from a couple of years ago.
Kick.
Good kick, isn't it? Oh, the back
yes.
is Green. Over the top. Bit of class from Brad Green over the top of Brett Harton. Now, he's in the right spot. That was very direct play from Johnston.
That's a good grab. Classy player. Here's Brad Green, and you'd reckon he'd sink this. Got allowed, just go to the left of the goals and let the wind do the rest.
Tassie Mariners.
See it. Beautiful kick.
Beautiful. First goal to the Zebras, and an important one. They trailed by just 3 points after nearly 18 minutes of the first quarter.
Ball over the back.
Oh, that's an enormous kick in. That has gone past the centre from Chapman. He went for the big barrel, and that's as good as anything Ben Graham's done for a while. Oh, Smith's gone, I suspect. It'll be a Sandy free kick.
Oh, what a waste.
We must get that kick on replay, because Ben Graham's kick last year went 85 metres. This is not a small oval by any stretch of the imagination, and he's let go, and it's gone past the centre. An enormous kick. That's one of the biggest kicks I've ever seen. But they lost possession. I suppose there's a law in that, or a lesson in that. Chapman lost it off the ground. That's a great goal. And Ben Beams has kicked their second.
One out by Colliker, still not cleared the area. Inboard by Pitt. Chisholm nowhere to go. Jackson lunging tackle. Chisholm's got clear, shoots in towards the square. Chapman's there. Oh, Johnson! Travis Johnson, what a grab! 2 speckies from Brad Green, and now Travis Johnston. Whoa. And encouragement from Nick Sauter. I hope he hasn't hurt himself. This is Travis Johnston for the Sandringham Footy Club, and they may go into quarter time leading after kicking into the very strong breeze. He chops around a metre or 2 and puts it through. Very good play, and the Zebras are leading by 5.
Talking about the weather, the sun's come out.
Wouldn't it?
Oh, that was an important interception, and it came from Lance Paccioni, but then he lost it. Phoebe has it now, goes in short. Here's a certain goal coming up, you would imagine, for Sandy. And they should extend this lead. Is that Sortner?
Yes, he was the centre of a bit of controversy the other week with talk of civil action after an incident out at Coburg. I don't know where that's all going, but the VFL now will be counselling players if they're involved in make too many appearances at the tribunal. But anyway, Sortner, Rob, yes.
Should kick it. And not sure. I think they like it. So that's their 4th. Sortner on the board. He is a prolific goal scorer.
Had trouble getting the hand pass out in the middle. McGeorge, little dish over the top to Godfrey with the job on Smith. He goes very long and direct. And Pitt.
Good goal.
Gets his first. Gee, he was very nonchalant there, in control. There's never really any doubt. Although I reckon Graham Yates might have had his heart in his mouth for just a moment.
To lose a game in the VFL. Paccioni works it forward again. That should have been a Sandy free kick, I suspect. Coughlin under pressure. Tapped out to Man. Man kicks round the corner. Is someone there for the Box Hill Hawks? Yes, indeed. Here's a goal coming up. Hazel has kicked a much-needed goal for the Box Hill Hawks.
Would surprise. 13 points the margin. There goes for the pass. Leads on Sordner. The head went down, unfortunately, as he had his hands on the ball. Pitt picks up, kicks his second. A very lazy second. He's certainly got good composure, Phil.
Not only for the side, but if he wants to win his senior berth back again. Billy Nichols, inside 50 for the Box Hill Hawks. Tregear working hard back. This is McFarlane round the corner. Real chance here. Pachoni's got it. Good mark.
Gee, that was...
What an excellent mark, Phil.
Well, and what a precision. That was an amazing kick, really, Rob. He had to swing it around and just find his man there, Pachoni. And Pachoni took it so beautifully there as it drifted over his head. So they're still firing up, the Hawks. They're under a bit of pressure. If they can hang on, just hold this deficit around about this mark till half-time, they'll do all right, Rob.
Nothing's a given today in this win, but Pachoni made sure of it. It'll allow a teammate in and might still work for them, will it? Chisholm has it now. Look at those silky skills on the right. In towards full forward. Pitt's got it again. He's kicked a couple already. And that was a very, very good mark. He was... speaking to Danny Corcoran about him a week or so ago, and their logic was pretty simple. He was the best player in the SANFL last year. They thought, why not give him another chance? Bit of a punt, and who knows, later in the year he could be playing in the AFL. But he's been a great pickup for them in the VFL, and he's now kicked 3.
Yes, that was a very, very good mark.
Pugsley.
You got it.
Inside 50 now go Sandy, and they've got another mark. It's Brad Green. He just oozes class, this kid. So Brad Green, who...
He's only 19 years of age.
And started his AFL debut with Melbourne. And from 48 metres, distance won't be a worry at all. And I don't think the accuracy is either. Sandy going away from the Hawks here at the City Oval.
Fancy this bloke. I reckon he could be a fair player.
3. He won't get this, but Ben Beams will. On to the right. Oh, just in time for the Box Hill point of view, because McGeorge was steaming into goal, which he kicked. Gee, the goal umpire thought about it, but the siren beat McGeorge. And an excellent first half of football here from this Sandringham side. Second placed on the ladder, and they've shown us why. And they've outclassed the top team of the competition to date as they lead at half-time by 27 points. There you see the scoreline. 8-8-56, Sandy, and the Box Hill Hawks with plenty of work to do. 4-5-29.
Well, Rob, the Sandy boys are nice and clean. They're handling the ball well, moving up to the forward line quickly. Pitt got into the game with 3 goals. But the Box Hill Hawks, they fumbled a bit. They've played a kick behind the play in that quarter. They haven't been able to link up in the midfield. They're not finding any targets in their forward half, the Hawks. So they're in a bit of trouble. They're going to have to reorganise this lineup a little bit after half-time and try to get some linkages in the midfield and kick a power of goals in the third quarter. But they could still be in the game at three-quarter time.
And certainly they're coming with a breeze in this third term. And you never know, they could bang on 8 or 9 and set themselves up with a handy break at three-quarter time. But at the moment, it's all Sandy as they kick 5 goals in this second quarter after outscoring Box Hill into the breeze in the first term. The goal kickers to half-time, well, Big Stephen Pett, the Adelaide recruit, got into it in that second quarter with 3. Brad Green's been very, very creative with 2. And the Box Hill Hawks have been forced to share it around, 1 each to Bateman, Mann, Pachoni and Hazel. It's 27 points the difference here at the City Oval, the home of Box Hill, who trailed by 27 at half-time. We might now rejoin Beverly O'Connor and then be back with this second half in a few moments' time. Here's Bev.
We all have a heaven, don't we?
That's right. And that's Godfrey now. Breeze, you can see, very difficult kick.
Godfrey
takes it across the goal. Who's at the full? Chance, good effort, Travis Johnston.
Got his own football, Roscoe.
2 goals to him. very hard for the Box Hill Hawks now. Good work, McKellar. Now Sortner. The kick was touched. Called a play on. Baxter. Centering kick. Oh, he's got...
Oh,
Nichols.
No, he's too late.
There's a good vision there by Baxter to find Nichols just drifting down from the centre line. And Shanahan preventing him from going on with it. Jenkins comes off. And Loates back on. Fifth goal perhaps for the Box Hill Hawks.
Yes.
It's through from Nichols, and their last goal was from Piccioni about the 10-minute mark of the second quarter, so it's been a mini drought.
Well, they just haven't used the ball particularly well, whereas the Zebras, I must emphasise, have played with real cohesion. And I do think they are going to be very hard to beat when it counts. They've got a great team spirit. They've had, you know, Tim Scott Brannigan, Mitchell Grant and Templeton.
And again, their teamwork terrific. Matthew Collins in towards the centre of the ground. Man takes it, throws it out. This will be interesting. Racing onto it is Hazel. Looks for support. Is it forthcoming? Colica backwards here towards teammate Brewer. Brewer spots someone in the hole, and that was a good pass. And taking the mark, is it McFarlane? No, it's not. It's Shane Tuck, son of Michael. And he could play a bit for the best part of about 4 generations. So Shane Tuck now with the chance for consecutive goals here to the Hawks. And who knows, it's still time for them to kick a swag in this third quarter. Well, it's not a swag, but it's a start.
Better kick than the old man, Roscoe, wouldn't you say?
Yes, Michael, but gee, not to be confused with Shane Zantuck. Shane Tuck, very confusing.
Was Chapman got it right the first time. Thought he'd had a bleached hair in, at half time.
A chance now.
There's a big chance now for Brewer. Brewer goes for home, and they've got another one.
In the game, I reckon.
And there's 10 minutes of the third quarter to go, and they've kicked the last 3. Left it behind, and Liddell calling the crisis. Gets back down to Lamb. Terrible kick, though. And Cox has intercepted it for the Box Hill Hawks. Cox looking for a forward option. There it is.
A kick, and he's on the shoulder.
And the big beanpole has taken the mark, David Loates.
Hasn't touched the ball, I don't reckon, today, Paul Field. You might tell me whether he has.
It'd be hard to spot. Here is the reverse angle. Must have been a free kick, was it?
Yes,
Against
on the
Shanahan.
shoulder. Said 6 possessions, Paul, is that correct? No, 1 possession. There you go. I was pretty close.
1 possession. So I wonder if he's feeling a little nervous about this set shot for goal. In he comes. Big, tall, rangy fellow, as you can see. David Loates.
Put down the glasses.
They've kicked 4 in a row, the Hawks there, coming right back into this.
Yes, there'll be another rebuke in jest, of course, from the CEO, Ken Gannon. That's good to see you passionate, Phil.
Was he squawking to you about me the other day, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Here come the Hawks again to the danger zone. Oh, a bit of a fumble from Tregear. Over the top from Harton. Who's there?
Yes!
Bateman!
It's on.
5 in a row, and they trail by 9 points.
It is fairly. Come on, Rob.
Well, but it's not Coburg playing third, settle down.
They got Fitzroy in the name. It's a bit harder for me these days to get as excited. But this is a great comeback. Look, you know, it's funny, Rob, at the start of the game, there was something funny about the way it was being played, you know, like they couldn't quite get the feel of the game. I was having trouble getting the feel of the game. It was like they were testing each other out. And Sandy just held the ball and used it neatly. And Box Hill just seemed flat or something.
Just now, kick up towards the half-forward line. Almost a good mark taken on that occasion. Haynes lost
done.
it. Colica barges his way through and did very, very well. Off to Piccioni. Piccioni to Rode. Rode off to his teammate here in Nichols. Nichols inside 50s. Another chance for them. And taking an excellent mark is Luke Jenkins. He hasn't seen much of it either.
A lot of them haven't, Rob. Gee, they have really found something. Isn't it amazing, the psychology of the game? You get a spark, blokes start running a bit harder.
Must kick this after Shane Tuck's near miss to keep the momentum going. Luke Jenkins goes for home. They're within 2 points.
Well, look, Rob, the crowd deserved this too, didn't they? If the game had gone the way it was, it would have been disappointing because there's a lot of people have turned up to see the two top sides, and now they've found something, the Hawks. This is super play through the middle there. Fantastic. Who was that?
Colliker.
Colliker, yes. Sorry, changed. No, great piece of play. And Jenkin on the end of it.
Crowd here doing what you can't do in the AFL competition. That's going out and hearing what the coach has to say at three-quarter time. And Graham Yates has a bit to say.
Don't even look at it. Disregard what it says. The momentum was with us for so much of the game, and they just clawed their way back in. So we've got to resist the pressure sometimes and counter-attack and work hard and push through the lines. No run out of our midfield. Not pushing hard enough forward. You know, we're all sitting back, scared of making mistakes. Not kicking strong lines a couple of times. We want to chip it across the middle. That's okay if the bloke's 30 metres in the clear. But under these conditions, we said we wouldn't finesse. We said we wouldn't be cute. We've got to be disciplined and kick a strong line every time, especially going into the breeze. Now we've got a slight breeze. Means nothing. Means nothing. We've got to be prepared to work hard. We've got to be prepared to run on from here. We've allowed them back in purely for our own selfishness, I reckon, at times. Because we go to ground, we sulk if things aren't going our way. We've got to be stronger up here, mentally tough. The old Indian arm wrestle, isn't it? Who wants it more? They surely wanted it more the last 10 or 15 minutes. So it's up to us now to turn it round. Get on top in the midfield. Be accountable for your bloke. Can someone tell me who's on 38? Someone must know who's on him. No one wants to man up on him. No one's prepared to push forward when they go forward. We all want to sit back, get on the end of an easy one when it comes out. They're pushing their numbers in. They're getting numbers to the contest. We're not. We're waiting back thinking it'll just happen. It's not going to happen. Not at this level. Not against good quality opposition. Can't afford to make silly mistakes. We've got to be strong. When we're over the footy, let's stand up and be strong. Didn't see enough blokes running straight at the footy. Body on line stuff. Not good enough. We went through this last week. Went through exactly the same thing. Put ourselves in the mire because we didn't work hard enough. Because we gave the opportunity to the opposition to let themselves back in the game. Because we weren't prepared to work hard enough. But now, we just turn around. The emphasis goes back on us to work super hard now for 30 minutes. Do we want it bad enough? We set ourselves up in the first half to really put this side away. But we allowed them back in. We allowed them back in. Now we've got to work super hard. So I'm going to put some faith in some people here. McKellar, Shanahan, Tregear, Liddell, Lamb, Coughlin. Bean on a wing. Simon, you go into the centre. Simon Godfrey. Trav on a wing. Good the first 10 minutes, Trav. Need more out of you. Need a heap more out of you. Benny Oakley, half forward. Brad Green, you played centre half forward, so we just need you to run around a bit there. Matty Collins on a half forward flank. PK, you come into the pocket. Pitty and Chiz. Sortner, McGeorge, Frader, Ramsey, Haynes, McNicholas, Phoebe on the bench. Come on. It's up to you. Come on. 20 minutes to turn around.
Well, Graham Yates, I think it'd be fair to say that he was reasonably unhappy with the way things went in that last 10 minutes, and you've just heard one of the great bakes, but he was eloquent.
Well,
he
was good. I mean, it was Sandringham coaching there. He reminded them about the momentum. He told them straight, and there was nice passion. It was controlled too, Rob. It wasn't raving and ranting.
Absolutely.
And then he just pointed out with the players. He said a few challenges. He told them where they were. He talked about Johnson. He pointed out that Nichols for Box Hill, the Box Hill Hawks, Bill Nichols, who kicked that goal in the third quarter, had been loosed. He couldn't find a man who said who'd own up to minding him. It's not unusual when the bloke's doing all right. They usually turn away from you.
Good sense of theatre from Graham Yates. He knew the cameras were there and he just kept on going.
Well,
and kept control. And
he did. It
was great stuff, really.
Great fluent stuff, yeah. And that's what you get in the VFL. We take you right into the huddle. You don't get it relayed. You actually see it. And it was great. But anyway, There's the 50-metre well. You see it all there. Ross Booth, I better get to you while we look at the stats. I tell you what, Graham Yates was fantastic. How was our man Donald? I bet he had a thing or two to say, Ross.
Yes, he reckons Box Hill are fitter, and I've got with Alan McDonald, the general manager. What a great crowd and lots of improvements here, Alan.
Well, a great day, and you can see around you, Ross, I think what the council have done here has just been a credit. They're very proud of the facility, and the work's been done. It's just been fantastic.
And it's great, and the team's come back so fantastic for that.
Well, we hope for a big last quarter.
Okay, well, Box Hill looking good. Clinton Gribus, nice to see you.
Ross, terrific here. Graham Yates told his players to ignore the score, but he's pretty unhappy at the moment. I don't know what's changed with Graham over the last few years, but at the moment he's not a happy man at all.
No, and Donald thinks they really can win because they've got the legs. And I'll get Tim Hazel, a short man, at centre-half forward. A lovely cup of tea, Clinton. Nice to see you.
Good to see Clinton Grivus here. Didn't bring his tie, but we'll forgive him for that. Looking $1 million, Clinton,
Yes,
isn't
and the first big kick at goal, though, by the Zebras. Here, Brad Green, he's already kicked 2. If he sinks this one, gee, it will hurt Box Hill because they've worked so hard.
he? Okay, Brad Green, very, very, very skillful player. And he'll be a big part of the Melbourne Footy Club's future. And sorry, Bev, looks like I did the old thing and put him off his game there with a bit of praise. It usually happens. Cox
Johnson got some praise from Donald McDonald. McKellar twists out of trouble, almost. Godfrey was good to Kennedy. Spent lots of time on the bench. In front, ridden to the ground, no. Obst lays the tackle. That's Chris, not Michael Obst. Good hands. Sortner fumbles. Cox has got him. Dishes it out to Ben Oakley. Oh, he might have missed, has he? He looks pretty confident. He's got it, Ben Oakley. And the margin out to 9 points.
only then capitalised, but the Hawks really throwing themselves in now. You heard the umpire call touch play on. Here's Nichols now, goes backwards. Kick in towards centre-half forward. That's a mark, I think. And mark should be paid to Matthew Brewer. Each time I see him, I think, oh, there's Shane Crawford. Looks a bit like him and wearing Crawford's number. He's a bit hesitant here, though. What's on offer for him? Decides to go short. Might work well for them, and it has. And dropping into the hole there is Luke Jenkins.
I think Brewer's a better driver of a golf buggy than Shane. You read that story in the Herald Sun?
Absolutely no idea what you're talking about, Ross. Fill me in.
Social game of golf, and he ran over an amateur player's ankle.
Amazing the things that can happen on the golf course.
It could have been worse.
Jenkins goes for home. He's kicked it. There's the answering goal. The Hawks are still well in it. And Ross, controversy on the golf course.
Yes. Well, it was all well reported in the Herald Sun. He needed the golf buggy, the cart, to rest his hamstring. But
okay.
Just mucking around. And
Yep. Oh,
You read that in the Herald Sun, did you?
yeah, I read all papers, Phil.
Sounds as if that's more important than his golf swing.
After I put down Eureka Street.
Yeah, that'd be right. 3.
Beyond their half-forward line. Johnson ducks their head, runs into the feet there of Brewer, and has won the free kick. Contact was high. I suppose you've got to pay it. Well, that might be 50, is it? Oh, dear. And it could be a crucial lapse, that. I suppose he could argue in these windy conditions he did all in his power, but it looks sloppy. I don't know, Phil, is the free, is the 50 on?
I think it was silly of the player, really, to give the umpire a chance. That's what the great Harold Martin would have said to me back in the old days. And if you give the umpire a chance and it goes sideways, but umpire Head took a while to make up his mind, didn't he? We might see it again.
Johnston just casually eases it through. So Box Hill now will have to kick 2 goals into this breeze if they're going to win this game, at least.
Back goes the big ruckman Rowe to make a contest. More than a contest. He's taken the ground. Hasn't taken many, but that's an important one. Gee, it looked like for John Doherty. Kicks up towards the square. Brewer's made a lead. Sitting underneath it, he's got it. Oof. Wasn't pretty, but they're up there.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, Ross. Looked pretty pretty to me as he took that grab.
Matt Brewer to go for his second. The breeze, as we said all day, right to left. He'll have to allow for it. He just tossed a bit of grass in the air. You can see whistling through those trees.
Good to see they don't kick a divot out of the ground in the VFL. That is a super kick, Ross.
It sure is. And they're back within 5 points, the Hawks. 16 minutes, final term.
camera.
In the ruck.
Let's wait for him to say can't kick, can't play, can't mark.
There's Green. He's pretty good. That was a good kick. Oh, it might favour the Zebras. The bounce on the boot from Pitt.
Got it.
So a fortuitous bounce there for the Zebras after good work from Brad Green, and Pitt gets another goal to make it 4. But here they go again with the numbers. Pugsley kicks the Hawks forward, and a free. A couple of players writhing in agony. One's Heath Tregear, and there's a Zebra who might be awarded the free. Let's hear it again. Oh, Tregear got the free. He got a high one.
Oh, but Chad Liddell wasn't in front.
And Jenkins
Got whacked.
bet you get a complete face mask, Phil, and might improve here. Here's Chapman.
At least I don't bet on cricket.
In front, Brewer. Geez, been pretty good, Matthew Brewer. One of Box Hill's best.
You're in the minority at the moment, it seems.
Up to half forward.
Yeah, the subcontinent gives it full tilt, don't they?
Well, they do in the Southern Hemisphere too.
Michael Colliker. You heard the umpire call out, and it's all over.
Yes, good win this for Sandringham. The Box Hill Hawks were gallant in defeat. They were staring down the barrel of an enormous loss at one stage. 40 points they trailed midway through the third quarter, and then they kicked 6 in a row to make a game of it. But Sandy were coming home with the breeze in the final term, and they ended up winning by 14 points. So a bit inaccurate in the final quarter, and it perhaps could have been a couple more. But a good game between Box Hill and Sandy. Box Hill went into this game undefeated. Sandy were their main rival with just the one loss, and now they're on level terms, and well, they're pretty evenly matched.
Well, Rob, I was very impressed with Sandringham. Sure, in the third quarter, Box Hill got back into the game, but they really played spirited, cohesive football. The Box Hill Hawks were just a little bit disjointed at times. They didn't link up well, but then in that third quarter when they got firing, gee, they looked dangerous. They're going to be a good, well, they are a good side. These are two of the really good sides of the competition. They've got about a half-and-half split of AFL and VFL players, so that's a big issue there. And they've got two good coaches. They're very animated today, the coaches. They'll go places, but we're treated to a very good game of football. Just petered out a little bit in the last quarter, didn't it? They couldn't mount quite the charge. They weren't so good inside 50, Box Hill. Couldn't muster those grabs.
And really like to see these two sides play in conditions that, you know, are better for football, because, as we all know, football in a gale-like breeze is just so tough. And so both teams put on a pretty good show here at the City Oval, and appreciated by a substantial crowd here. The Box Hill Hawks obviously making waves in the eastern suburbs in this alliance with Hawthorn. Here's the story of the afternoon, Phil. Sandy got out to that 27-point break at half-time, and as I said, they led by as much as 7 goals, really. And then Box Hill came back and, well, 3 goals to 2 in the final term.
Well, they just couldn't, you know, at the start of the last quarter, they needed really to get the first goal, but Sandringham mounted the charge. They ended up pinching a couple of goals. Like, I think Pitt got one easily off the ground. Chavis Johnson picked another one, and she was all over virtually. And Ross Booth is down there with the best man. You better have got it right today, Ross. We've got a big viewing audience out there, and they're expecting big things from you.
Well, Phil, I hope we try our best in the box. So we had the special assistant of Clinton Grivers today, who was visiting us. And as you can see, our winner today for man of the match, the Zebra captain, David McGeorge. And first, David, Stan Petty has some keys for you.
Congratulations, David. A good struggle, good win. Yep. I'd like to present you with the keys to the coffee forward for Steve.
Yeah, thanks, Stan.
Well done, David. It was a great win, really, knocking off Box Hill for the first time, apart from that third quarter, and the viewers heard Graham Rates giving you all a bit of a bake at three-quarter time. But I thought one of the interesting things was that yourself and Adam Coughlin and Cam McKellar, sort of 3 of the traditional VFL players, really had a very good first half and helped give you that good lead.
Yeah, we got off to a pretty good start. Working against the wind, I think we got a few goals, and that probably set us up for the day. But look, second, it's funny when you're against the wind, you seem to work a lot harder than when you've got the wind. I think we sort of fell a bit foul of that in the second quarter, and then again in the third we sort of got away and then let them back in when we shouldn't have. But yeah, look, it was a good win.
Did you felt you took your foot off the pedal a bit at half time? You seemed a bit sort of relaxed in there, if you don't mind me saying.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty fired up because we probably haven't put together 4 quarters once this year, and third quarter hasn't been good for us, so we're pretty fired up. I think the first 10 minutes of the third quarter were pretty good, but then we really let the foot off the pedal and they got back in the game, to their credit.
Now, what about from the players' point of view? I believe that the club is looking at having a different away strip, because was it hard for the players to pick up who's on whose side?
It was pretty difficult, I must admit. I'll use that excuse for a couple of my kicks, Ross, but look, it was very difficult today. The sun, especially in the last quarter with the sun, it was very difficult to see it, I must say.
But, of course, you're having a successful side, but how have the traditional VFL players at Sandy handled the alignment with Melbourne? It seems to be working quite well, good spirit?
Yeah, look, it's a good spirit there. I mean, the Melbourne guys are a terrific bunch of blokes, and sort of the camaraderie and spirit there has been very good. And, you know, I mean, obviously it picks up the level of footy that we play in, so for the traditional Sandy players, it's a good thing.
So if you'd had your time over there, I guess you've got to answer this honestly. Would you recommend the alignment for other VFL clubs and AFL clubs?
Look, I think the way the competition's going, it has to be done. Like, financially, you know, I don't think the VFL clubs who go alone are really going to be able to stick around in years to come. So, look, I think for the competition, we've sort of been proactive and gone with it, and I think it's, you know, it shows the scoreboard that it's working fairly well for us.
Got to the Sandringham captain, Dave McGeorge, and you can see more. Yeah,
thank Coffee Ford.
Yeah, sure.
Thank Coffee Ford before I go. Much appreciated for the keys.
And we'll see him next week against the Saints.